At first sight, the man you're about to meet appears as a knight in shining armour. He offers hope to people desperate to have babies, but it's not long before he starts to lose his gloss. A clue is the name he goes by. Joe Donor travels the world impregnating any woman who'll have him, any way they'll have him. And his proud boast is he's already fathered more than 100 children. Australia is his latest stopover, but instead of welcoming his helping hand, fertility experts here warn that Joe Donor is a dangerous public health risk with very questionable motives. This man is on a mission you'll find hard to believe.
I'm basically only having sex to get women pregnant. You know, I'm not, you know, chasing rainbows, fantasies.
His life's work is to get as many women pregnant as he possibly can.
I've seen, I guess, ages all the way from 20s up into 40s.
To create hundreds, perhaps thousands of children in his image.
Like some people, they want to do a background check, drug tests, and I'm like, you know, you're not giving me the keys to the nuclear missiles. You know, we're just making a baby.
And to hell with the consequences.
I just think he's mad and dangerous, and these women shouldn't be going anywhere near him.
He calls himself Joe Donor, a self-styled international sperm donor. And he's in Australia. It's Tuesday, January the 8th at Melbourne Airport, and 29-year-old Shani is waiting to greet Joe Donor. He's flying in from Santiago, Chile, and Shani will be one of the first of more than a dozen women Joe has agreed to help on his tour down under. When he walked out the door into the arrivals lounge, your first thought was what?
He's very short.
This self-promoting American miracle maker appears very much your average Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Oh, hi. How you
Shani, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Mwah, you too. Welcome to Australia.
But this is a man who claims to have fathered more than 100 children, with plans to create many more, with mothers who have no idea who he really is.
Oh, such a big guy. You're a heavy one, aren't you?
You don't use your real name.
No, but you see, this is the thing, is what you want is you want a pregnancy, you don't want to write an autobiography.
The smart-talking Joe Donor brims with confidence, but things change when he's challenged about his unsafe practices. You could be infected right now and not know it, isn't that correct?
No, you could be infected and not know it.
I'm talking about you, Joe. I'm not donating, you are. Much about Joe Donor is shadowy. He operates anonymously, promoting himself on Facebook to women all over the world. He says it's a free service, only charging them expenses. What really drives you to do this?
Well, I enjoy being successful. And like any, you know, artist or, you know, any type of person, they take pride in their work and they want to produce more work. You know, if you compose music, you want to produce more songs. I think it's very normal to want to do your job well and to want to do it often.
Melbourne's the best city.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Joe Donor tells Shani that natural insemination is the most effective and claims nearly half of his donations are via sexual intercourse.
Here you go, sir.
Shani, though, is only interested in artificial insemination, and Joe promises to deliver later that night.
Then he'll prepare our sample and then he'll drop it off for us.
Shani and her partner desperately wanted a child, but felt they could neither afford the cost nor the waiting period at an IVF clinic. What made you decide on Joe?
It honestly was an opportunity that we couldn't not take.
What was paramount? What boxes did he absolutely have to tick for you?
That he was healthy, that he had all of his medical checks, as in I wouldn't be put into danger. That was probably most important for us to cross those off first.
And how did you check on that?
We've honestly thought that being so open and public, that he would have to be.
So it's a trust issue, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Okay,
And then,
so that's, dare I ask?
Yeah, it's just a syringe.
For drawing up the
Aspirate
sperm.
the sperm, the semen. And
At his motel, Joe inspects his tools of the sperm donation trade.
slip tip syringe.
So you deposit in something, do you?
A cup, yes, or you can use a Ziploc bag if you don't have a cup. So I've arranged to meet, I think, 15 women in total.
Okay. I shouldn't be in your way then.
No,
I should let you get down to business, but yeah. Joe, it seems, is a man who needs little rest. He's been in the country less than 6 hours, and already he's making his first donation.
Hey there, how you doing?
Good, thank you.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you, have a good night.
And that's it. Shani is now hoping she and Joe will never need to meet again. Is that difficult? Because this is a moment, this is a significant moment, and you get the ding-dong on the door.
Yeah. It was. It was a little bit, it was very awkward, but I tried to make it so that it was as quick as possible so that then my wife and I could share in the moment that we could be making a baby. I wanted to make that private and create that special moment between us.
So now it's a waiting game.
Absolutely. Fingers crossed.
You know, it's like a hunger. It can be like a lust, a baby lust to have a child.
Kate Bourne understands well this emotional journey. For 20 years, she's been an infertility counsellor and oversees the donor registry of the Victorian Assisted Reproductive Treatment Authority.
The child is asking from 2, 3, 4, you know, do I have a daddy? Who's my daddy? What are they going to think at their, 18th birthday, their 30th, their 50th, their 70th? Are they going to think, great job, mum, great jobs, mums? Or are they going to say, what the hell were you thinking? How did you ever think that I would be okay with this?
What would be the maximum donations for women in a day?
The most I've helped in a day is 5. And I've several cases that I've had 2 successes in the same day.
It's only day 2 and Joe's calendar is filling quickly. Should the mother be sound of mind though?
Well, some of these people have a little bit of unstructured lives, and a lot of times having a child adds structure to their lives. It matures people. So I don't really see it as a problem. And even a monkey can raise a baby.
Well, we're talking about human beings. You say your instincts are good.
Yeah.
So you're meeting Joe.
Yeah.
What will you be looking for?
Body language is one big thing. And obviously a lot of people that are like hiding things seem to sweat an awful lot too.
Tracy and Bella will be Joe's next recipients. And Joe boasts having at least 100 children.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable with that?
They're not in Australia, for one. But look, obviously, means he's got good swimmers to have that many.
But you're not concerned by the number of
No.
children?
No.
Between them, Tracy and Bella already have 7 children. Their baby Braxton also by a sperm donor. And they're seeing Joe tonight to try and add to their brood. There's no such thing as too many little Joes?
No, I worked at the math, and in the United States, I would have like a limit of maybe 2,500, and I'm nowhere near that, so there's no problem.
You quite like the idea of 2,500 little Joes.
I mean, it's just, I mean, I'm averaging about 10 a year, so hopefully I live that long, but I don't think so.
He's really playing the role of God, and he shouldn't be playing the role of God towards desperate women and their kids.
Lawyer Stephen Paige is one of Australia's leading legal voices on donor conception. His opinion of Joe is blunt.
Why would you willingly bring into the world a child who has 100 siblings? This isn't some soccer club or some community group at the local CWA. It's nothing like that. These are your half-brothers and half-sisters, and you're going to try and work out your place in the world and be constantly challenged by that for the rest of your life, and then say, why did Mum and Dad do that to me?
Coming up, when donor children grow up, your fear is having some sort of sexual encounter with
Yes,
somebody who might be your brother.
absolutely.
They're one of 100 siblings. Not that Joe cares one little
Your
bit.
sample?
Thank you.
Every person is always happier existing than non-existing.
That's next on 60 Minutes. "29-year-old Chloe Allworthy is a donor-conceived person. As an embryo, she was frozen for 2 years and then born into the world. It's just one of the unique elements of a life that still keeps its mysteries from her.
There is a condition called genetic sexual attraction, or GSA. So if you're meeting someone like that for the first time and you don't know that they're a sibling, you could possibly think, wow, there's that connection there, but not realise that that connection is actually a sibling bond and not something else.
Chloe is one of 16 siblings. She made contact with the sperm donor who fathered her, and 8 of the other children he helped create. But the remainder of her siblings are still unknown, and for Chloe, that creates a terrible unease. And so your fear is having some sort of sexual encounter with
Yes,
somebody who might be your brother.
absolutely. I don't even really want to date people within my age range because I'm so afraid that they're going to be my brothers.
This is the choice that their mother made. Women make their own reproductive choices. Haven't you fought for that? You now have those rights. You have the right to decide your own reproduction. I'm just the tool by which this happens.
Joe Donor certainly is a tool,
I would say it's about
and he
people
rejects
helping.
any criticism of his self-appointed
even if it's not
mission
me,
to
then
populate the
help
world
someone else.
and the
This is
impact
some
on those he might create. But if a donor-conceived person says, if you'd really cared about me, the result of your actions, you would know I don't need 100 siblings.
No man in the world has any control over what the mother of a child is going to do.
You're helping them. You're helping these women. You know that you're helping to create
Because every person is always happier existing than non-existing.
Oh my goodness. I think Joe might have some narcissism or narcissistic personality disorder to feel that way, to feel like he needs to spread his seed that far between that many people.
But in a motel somewhere in Melbourne's west, Joe is at it again. Tracy and Bella have come to him.
Hi there.
How you going?
How you doing?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Tracy.
Hi.
I'm Bella.
Hi, Bella.
It's room service with a twist.
Here we go. Your sample.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
The trouble with Joe is that nothing can shake him from a belief that his sperm on demand is doing good in the world.
I really would urge Joe, if he's watching this, to please reconsider, because people like myself and the donor conceived community will be outraged by this. It's really unfortunate that he hasn't thought through what impact that will have on us, on the donor conceived people born from this.
If it's ever going to go well, perhaps the extended family of sperm donors, Juan Fernandez and Chris Ruiz, sets the example.
That's so good.
All these children have either Juan or Chris to thank for their existence, as do mums, Jess, Samantha and Alicia. It looks really happy. I mean, it's very comfortable.
Yeah, it kind of feels like we've known each other for a long, long time, and we kind of just hand kids over and swap around because, as you can see, they cause a little bit of havoc when something's not going the way they want it to.
Yes, yeah. I really love the fact that our kids are going to know their roots and their extended family. We're incredibly close and it's just so special. It's beautiful to be able to have those memories together.
As a gay married couple, Juan and Chris had to depend on the generosity of surrogate mothers to have their sons Anxo and Atlas. But then they decided they wanted to give back.
We think it's extremely important to always be there for those kids. So whenever they have the question where I'm coming from, you know, moms can tell, you know, you remember Uncle Chris or Uncle Juan? Well, you know, he helped us to have you, and that's it.
Although these were private donor arrangements, they were done with the same medical checks and legal agreements used in Australian IVF clinics. Did you feel an obligation to provide medical histories, medical checks? Is that part of what you must do?
Yeah, we did it, and we've been having blood tests regularly. Our sperm was also tested.
You're creating life, you're creating a baby, so it has to start with a very, very positive and nice and beautiful base. Yeah.
Coming up, you are risking women's lives by your very deliberate actions.
No, I'm not.
Why would-be mothers should be worried.
You can get infections from fresh donated sperm.
People who want to get pregnant, and the people who want to be safe can be safe.
And does Australia have its first little Joe? That's the test?
That's the test right there.
That's next on 60 Minutes. American sperm donor Joe is crisscrossing the Australian countryside offering his services.
Feel free to contact Joe on his email or via Facebook or his posts.
And many of the women he meets have discovered Joe through this man.
Hey everyone, Adam Hooper here from Sperm Donation Australia and Sperm Donation USA.
Adam Hooper is a Perth-based FIFO, a tradie who works in the local mines.
Am I a qualified doctor? No. But I will say what I am, and no doubt no doctor or health specialist can say this, but I am the administrator of Australia's largest sperm donor community that has helped many hundreds of children be born.
Adam Hooper is also a sperm donor and is hoping Joe's visit will attract more people to his website.
If you want to give yourself the best chance in the months of January and February, obviously Joe's got the runs on the board.
So you've been up into Queensland,
yes,
south into Victoria, and dabbled in Sydney.
Yeah, and then I've also been west to Adelaide.
And of those women you've seen, how many of those have involved natural insemination?
I don't know. There maybe half.
So, Joe, you understand that you can acquire a disease and not know it when you have unprotected sex.
The theoretical risk that someone could have a disease which has symptoms which no one can see or feel any result of, it all sounds very theoretical to me. You know, people want to get pregnant, and the people who want to get pregnant, and the people who want to be safe can be safe.
You are risking women's lives by your very deliberate actions.
No, I'm not. I'm helping women achieve their dreams.
You are not helping anyone.
No
you
one,
liken
no
yourself
one has
to
become
some
sick.
doctor on call waiting to assist some poor woman. But in fact, it's quite disturbing what you're really about.
The real risk is that a woman will die a spinster without a child. The real risk is you're going to go right off the edge of the evolutionary cliff because you're hypnotized by propaganda.
The real risk is that you're totally deluded.
The sperm is tested to see the quality of the sperm.
Dr. Lyndon Hale is Medical Director of the Melbourne IVF Clinic.
Basically, any disease that's transmissible or communicable through the semen needs to be excluded.
Here, sperm is checked and quarantined for 3 months. And fertile women can be artificially inseminated at a fraction of the cost of IVF treatment.
We absolutely need to make sure that no infections could be passed on to patients. It's been well documented in the medical literature that you can get infections from fresh donated sperm.
I imagine that you look at Joe Donor and wonder, why take the risk?
Look, you do wonder, but you know, desire to have a baby is intense for some people. And this is probably one area where you should make really good decisions and not really dumb decisions.
In Melbourne, Bella and Tracy have their pregnancy result.
And I screamed the house down. And I said, guess what? We're having a baby, we're having a baby.
And that's the test?
That's the test right there, yeah.
And it, without doubt, says pregnant.
Yeah.
Joe's first Australian child is on its way to be born after he's long gone.
Five seconds.
At Shani's home this morning, tense minutes as she waits for her results. You okay with
Next
that?
time. Yeah. We've still got time.
Her pregnancy test comes up negative. You're realistic, but when you get a negative, I guess it is disappointing, huh?
Yeah, of course. Of course. Especially because there is so much hype around Joe and his super sperm. I guess we were definitely hopeful that there would be an advantage, but maybe not. We knew that Joe was a fan of the natural method, and because we elected for AI, it was it was very different to what I expected. And
a week later, I meet with Shani again, who tells me she and her wife are now having second thoughts about Joe Donor. Now, what's he getting out of it?
Well, that's the thing. I am honestly not really sure. It's really strange.
Shani has decided to seek help to extend her family at a fertility clinic. And Joe? Well, fertility lawyer Stephen Paige has some free advice for the children conceived by Joe's sexual adventures. What would be his legal obligations under Australian law?
He's dead.
He's dead?
He's dead.
Do any of those children have a claim on him?
Well, absolutely. You know, the claim would be either child support or, if he dies, that of inheritance.
What would you say to Joe?
Mate, just give it a break. Stop doing it. You're not God. You're screwing up these women's lives, and you're potentially screwing up the lives of all the kids that you've created.
What would stop you doing what you're doing?
Eventually I will get old and die.
Okay, that's all it would take.
That's all it would take. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Liz Hayes. Thanks for watching. To keep up with the latest from 60 Minutes Australia, make sure you subscribe to our channel. You can also download the 9 Now app for full episodes and other exclusive 60 Minutes content.